looking at my design, there is a lot of negative space on the top and the bottom. And I planned that because I want to crop into the design the way I want to crop in. I open the photo in Lightroom, and I'm going to crop the photo. We learned in week 1 how to turn a photo to crop it, to give it movement and implement balance with the rule of thirds. And you can bring the crop up a little bit and the crop down a little bit. I like how this side of the iPad is being cropped out of the design a little bit. So let's do the same thing on the left side, and that shows repetition by cropping out a part of each side of the objects. Let's bring the design down a little bit, try to balance out everything in the image. Let's press return. Then you go to the light module to play around with any exposure or shadows or lights or blacks. Now I think we can make these whites a little bit whiter, so I'm going to bring the whites up in the design. Then I'm going to bring the exposure back just a little bit because that blew out some parts of the design. Now when you're dealing with devices with screens, sometimes the screens are going to be really bright when you take your photos. This screen over here is really bright, but the rest of the image looks good. I just wanted you to be aware of that issue. Now this device is kind of dark in these dark areas. So I'm going to take the shadows out of the design a little bit so we can see those areas a little bit better. Then I'll bring the exposure in just a little bit more to off balance that. And then I'll bring the whites up just a little bit more too. And then I'll press the share button, JPEG large. I'll put that on my desktop and press export. The last thing I'm going to do is bring the photo into Photoshop to touch it up a little bit. What do I mean by that? Well, let me duplicate this layer, Command J, and show you a before and after. I'm going to get the spot healing brush tool, and I see a couple areas up here on the table that I could fix up because they're little blemishes. Use the space bar, which gets the hand tool to move around the design to find other parts that you want to touch up. So I'd like to roam around and look to see if there's anything else in the design that I can fix up. There's a couple here on the phone. And then I look on here, and then I look on the iPad to see if there's anything on the iPad I need to clean up. And everything else looks good. There wasn't that much, but there was some blemishes. If we turn the eye off, we'll see the blemishes. Turn that back on again, we'll see the image is a little bit nicer. I can right click on layer 1 and I can merge that down. And then I can close the JPEG and save it.